Nigeria, with its diverse cultural heritage, natural landscapes, and historical sites, holds immense potential for tourism development, particularly in the southeast region and across the country as a whole. Are there explorations of the potentials, recent developments, challenges, and prospects for tourism in southeast Nigeria and Nigeria at large, with a focus on leveraging these opportunities for economic and social benefits? This is the Eastern Eye. I'm Alex Ogbodo. You're welcome to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV, a program that X-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Tonight, I'm joined by Dr. Emanuel Perlman, founder, Destination Peace. Tonight, he's joined by Chukwuma Ifrem-Okenwa, Executive Director, Lead Network Africa. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me on the Eastern Eye tonight. And I have to say a very warm welcome to today your Chief, Dr. Emanuel Perlman. You're welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I mean, the last time it was a virtual conversation we had. I mean, when we talk about tourism, really, it's typically about footfalls and attracting people to your location. But is it much more than that?
Well, if I had a slogan, it would be, come not as a tourist, but come as a friend. It's such a warm feeling that comes over you. And I really think that you can't imagine being a tourist. You have to go into people's homes. You have to have their cooking. You have to learn the crafts. You need to learn how the recipes are put together. And there's a recipe to life as well. And so I will tell you that having had dinner at the Okenwa's home, that was a banquet. It was a feast. And it created a memory. And I think that what Enugu and Nigeria can do is to spend more time building these memories rather than focusing on tourism in the classic sense.
So it's typically beyond just asking people to come to visit. You have to weave a story, give them something to remember. It's really not about, come and be in my country or in my city, but it should be something that they have some devotion for.
Yes. I think the most important thing is relationships and authenticity versus commercialism. And at least in my country, so many things are commercialized. They have banners on the back of cars. They have all kinds of slogans. I think the slogan that I said, come as a friend, and learn about the different cultures. Learn about the different responsibilities that are in the universities. For example, we visited IMT today, and it was an amazing visit with the rector and with the students. We spoke, Chukwuma spoke about discipline, and I talked about what's happening with technology. Recently, my wife and I went to Geneva, to the Artificial Intelligence for Good, and we learned what's happening in other countries. So it should happen here. Everyone should have a rebuilt computer. All children should have afforded to them the things that others have. So first and foremost, I know it's difficult with infrastructure, but you have to fix the roads in order to go to the hotels. But you don't have to have 5-star hotels. We're staying at a magnificent hotel, but you could have the mid-range hotels. But someone needs to reach out to the people that are really on the cutting edge of tourism in other countries. Like I would like to speak to the head of tourism here in Enugu and Nigeria and ask them, what are you doing proactively? Where are you trying to build so that people can come the way that they go to other places? Now, you could say, well, what is the attraction here? Is it the coal mines? What is the major attraction? And I'm telling you, I found it. I discovered it. It's the people. And as a matter of fact, later on, I wrote a song for today. I write songs everywhere I go.
I will hear the song, just like the last time we ended with a song. And I'm certain that Chief Dr. Perlman will give us a song today. Also, Chukwuma from Okenwa, let's hear from you. I'm sure there are key areas that Nigeria and indeed the Southeast should develop, certain areas. I mean, yeah, Dr. Perlman spoke about coming as a friend. But before you come as a friend, there has to be something friendly that will have to lure you in a good way.
Yeah, so I think, from the experiences he shared, I began to appreciate our food the more. If all the way from United States of America, he could appreciate like our cuisines here. And that shows you that we have something that we need to be proud of, like in the diplomatic nuances, what we can call cuisine diplomacy, right? Where you can have exchanges, bondings through food, family connections, clothes, like you can see how wonderful, my dad is looking, Dr. Perlman, Chief Dr. Perlman. It has a beautiful way of connecting, and like he pointed out, why should people visit a particular area? That is one thing. So it is one thing every government need to factor in. Why will people leave the comfort of their home from miles away to come to my state, to come to my region, to come to my country? And I think I think that's like the unique selling points, right? That thing that whether it could be like maybe sometimes like you mentioned the coal mines, right? You also like talk about like it was beautiful site visiting the art gallery at IMT.
Yes.
Yeah, very beautiful, right? The sculptures, the storyline. I mean, there's one.
Okay, the one at the conference center.
Yes, there is an art gallery there.
Okay, the conference
center. Garden. Yes, not
okay, not in one. Okay.
No. Like very I never knew that something like that was there. Like honestly, it was super. You get to see like through art telling stories, and I think if some of those things, right, we could begin to like put it out there the more, it can attract people that want to visit. Because when he was speaking with the curator, when I was deeply impressed, it was when he began to liken it with some experiences he's had, traveling the world in France and all the rest. And I'm like, come on. So we had all of this here and we never really, have celebrated and appreciated it as we ought to.
So, Dr. Perlman, so there is a challenge identifying what will create that friendly atmosphere for the people, because it looks like everyone is paying attention at the infrastructure, but they are looking away from the people and the feeling and the moments that will create real friendship.
So one of the ways you can rectify that is by teaching children in schools from a very young age to be guides, tourist guides. Teach them not only pride in the history of Nigeria, but in order to speak to tourists that become friends when they come here. So that's one way to do it. I can tell you that when we went to the art gallery today, I've been to the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, I've been to the Hermitage, and so many museums around the world. I've seen the greatest art collections. What I noticed was that these magnificent depictions manifested feeling. So I think we need to try to get feeling out there, and that can come from the guides. The guides talking about what it was like to grow up in a certain environment and how they survived. And when I looked at that artwork, what I saw in so many of them was struggle. Amazing. And when we went out and saw the sculptures, I'll tell you, we went to Unity Park and was the first place that we really got to see. And I felt a sense of calmness. Usually when you go through a park, you are distracted. I see people with their headphones on where I live, and people are into technology to the point where they don't see nature anymore. And I believe that one of the problems today for children is that too much is virtual, and they don't have the opportunity to experience nature and life. So here, it's just the opposite. Here, people are constantly communicating with each other in ways that I don't see back home. They're talking to one another. Everyone asks, My wife and I were married for 49 years, and they always say, what's the secret? How is it you're going to make 50 years marriage? And I tell them, because every single day we communicate, we talk. And when I spoke to the kids at the Queen's Model School today, I told them that they have something that they need to recognize. It's a voice. And it's not what you say sometimes, it's how you say it. So it's important for governmental officials to work with the people that have that feeling for the land and for the history. It can't just be legislated. It has to be brought out from the heart. And I will tell you that what really moved me was almost everywhere I went, I saw a lion. What a symbol that we need in this world when I talk about peace. Where's the courage? Where's the courage to stand up? Loyalty. There are so many things that a lion represents. Strength. So I will tell you now that you have the symbol. Because I saw the giant lion. It was so big that normally I feel short, but with this lion, I'm telling you, this lion was humongous. But it was telling me that you don't have to roar. You don't have to roar to get your message across. All you need is to stand up and be proud. And I will tell you, when the school stood there at attention, saluting me, they sang the Nigerian national anthem. And every child's voice I heard, not individually, but I focused on every child. And I saw that they know the words to the national anthem. I think that somebody should go on YouTube and talk about the meaning of the national anthem, not just sing. See, I don't use music just as a vehicle to get people to be entertained. No, I want them to learn. And I do believe that these future guides will infuse such tourism to this country. But again, after what we experienced at the Okenwa's house, personally, I will never forget that moment as long as I live.
All right. So, I mean, it was quite fascinating listening to you, Dr. Perlman, and talking about guides. So, typically, tourism isn't about places, it's about people.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So, Chukwuma from Okenwa, do you think that's the point we've been missing? Each time you're saying, visit Nigeria, visit Enugu State. But when the person comes in, no one explains what IMT is. No one explains the coal mines to them.
Yes.
No one is trained to explain maybe Okpara Square or the House of Assembly. I mean, there has to be some kind of plan to have guides. The governor says he's expecting 3 million visitors in the state yearly. So you need hundreds or even thousands of guides.
Yes.
Yeah, certainly. And this basically starts, one interesting thing is when you go to places and you see guides that are excited to do their job, they're excited to show you their place, right? I mean, you could feel that energy, like you want to connect, right? And that's one very significant thing. And I think taking it up from what he suggested would actually be first and foremost to help young persons appreciate tourism, right? Appreciate it from the sense that little things could make all of the difference, right? I know, like for that Unity Park that is there, there's some young persons, they could look in there and they're wondering, why should I go there? Why should I, even enter like border? But this is really what makes life very interesting. And like I tell people, just little things of life could make all of the difference. And so one young persons are taught to appreciate works of art, appreciate nature, appreciate, history, appreciate music, appreciate literature. This opens up the world to them. And with that impacting on their worldview, they can also, inspire people to want to be part of their world. They want to connect with them as friends. And part of it could mean, they also want to come to see how things are done, in the area where they come. Because one of the things that traveling does, if you ask Dr. Perlman, who's been to 46 nations, he's seen it from, all shades of it. Because when you get to like different nations, like before you travel, I just returned from China. Before I went to China, there was that concern of, a very tough nation, very strict, where you don't even have like any freedom. And, but when I got there, I was really shocked, at how orderly the citizens were. The police don't carry guns. And just with a whistle, everybody, imagine trying to control like 1.5 billion people. And so orderly, and I'm like, come on, right? You could see people also like that are nice, that could relate, and it somehow conflicts, the thing I thought perhaps this way. So there's nothing as good as traveling, because it opens up the world to you. And let me mention this, like, he observed today. So yesterday we went to a cafe to take coffee, right? So the wife gave an over money, the young man returned it, and today again in the restaurant, something like that also happened. And that really, really helped them to appreciate that we have like honest people in Enugu and in Nigeria.
Yes.
Unlike maybe sometimes like things that are put up in the media, Dad, you could remember when he said he wanted to come to Nigeria, there was a lady from Anambra State staying in the US with someone who said, please don't come, I am from there. Right? That they are bad people. And what I told him, I said, well,
But she has family members here, isn't it?
she has, and I told him, I said, you know what? Ask him whether he's a legal resident of the US, then I'm sure he's illegally dwelling there. And that's why he's speaking like this, right? That here you can find, just like every other place, honest and hardworking people, who love people, who love their world. And I'm happy you have come to experience that.
You've come to experience the charm and hospitality of Nigeria right now, Enugu State. And the way you're dressed is one of those. I mean, immediately you come, you are already clad in one of the most gorgeous dresses you can find anywhere in Africa, Ishiagu.
Well, I do want to...
Did I tell you the name of the dress? Ishiagu?
Yes, yes.
And you talked about lion. You referenced the lion and the import of a lion. So how do you think that people around here should really leverage their ceremonies and festivals? And when you merge that with friendship, what kind of charm will it bring to people who intend to visit so they can actually connect to the place properly?
Well, for one thing, a lot of people have no clue. They have no idea the celebrations that take place here. They just don't know. So first you have to inform them through all kinds of television programs like this Eastern Eye, which I love to watch at home. And that's what gave me more of an understanding even of politics. So twice we visited a country, I don't feel comfortable to mention names of countries or I'm going to say something pejorative, but we went to see places and we had to let them know in advance so that they would have the children act militaristically and they had to follow orders. When we went to the Queen's Model School, it was such a feeling that came over us. The children waved at us when we left the classroom. And though they were disciplined, they were not militaristic. They were disciplined. And discipline is what Chukwuma spoke about today. It's so important. But the feeling that I felt, and my wife, we were overwhelmed with emotion. And I think that the world probably needs to see the children of Enugu. You know, we always think of the adult things, but it's the children that inspired us. Of course, my son here, my adopted son. But if it wasn't for his going out to the United Nations, he reached out. They not only need guides in the schools, when they finally graduate with some kind of a diploma as a guide, they need to go to the United Nations. They need to go out into civic organizations and world global organizations and teach people what is happening here. in Enugu.
So, each time I listen to you, you've referenced how the children radiated hope and the way you connected with the desire in their hearts. And Chukwuma from Okenwa, taking it from there, I'm asking this question again. Is it possible that there is too much focus on structures than actual human beings who will get this done? Because at the end of the day, the person who will take you to the hotel is a driver.
That's
the
right.
person who will deliver your food
That's right.
is a chef
That's
or a
right.
waiter. So do we have any conscious efforts in talking to these people and training them on how to relate in a way that leaves a positively indelible impression about not just the city, but the country?
Yeah, I think the current administration in Enugu is a bit of doing that, and I think more can be done. Like there's already a school for hospitality, currently in the Institute of Management and Technology, charged with the responsibility to train all of the people that work in the five-star hotel that the current administration is building just at the ICC. And that's a commendable step, because for everything you want to do, training is what converts human beings into human capital. And just having the numbers as people has not made any difference anyway. It is when you begin to train those people that you can harness their potentials and convert human beings to human capital. And they can begin to contribute a lot to quality of service, to manufacturing, to tourism, right? And all of this culminates into what boosts the GDP of the state, of the nation. So I advocate that there should be more conscientious effort on the part of all the Southeast governors and Nigeria as a whole.
All right, this is the Eastern Eye. We'll take a break at this point. When we return, we'll continue our chat with Dr. Emanuel Perlman and Chukwuma from Okenwa. Stay with us. You're welcome back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV. We are reaching you from the very hilly city of Enugu, southeast Nigeria. My name is Alex Ogbodo. I still have here with me Dr. Emanuel Perlman and Chukwuma from Okenwa. Let's talk about how people play the role of ambassadors for or against their communities. Let me start from you, Dr. Perlman. I'm sure that before you came to Nigeria, you must have received some messages about, don't go to Nigeria, this and that. So share that experience with us.
Well, I heard from several people, and they were adamant, vociferous. Don't go, don't go. And the reason was, it's a corrupted place. That was the word they kept using. It's corrupted. And when my adopted son came to America, and he was coming in for the first time to America, and he was going to be visiting with us, when we picked him up at the airport in Washington, D.C., the customs agent stops him and says, "What is the reason that you're coming to the United States? Is it business, pleasure? What is it?" And he said, "Well, I'm attending an anti-corruption symposium in Washington, D.C." And the custom agent, without blinking, said, "You're in the wrong country." So customs agent could do it to the United States as well. So understand, when I get back after this wonderful visit, my doctor had asked me to see a specialist, and he said, "Do you want to see a Nigerian or somebody here from the United States?" I said, "He's from the United States, and I want the Nigerian doctor." So I want to dispel the kinds of statements that are being made, because these people that leave are not the ambassadors that we want. We want the people who come to different countries and go back because they love living here.
So it's about, you have to be ambassadors of the place you come from.
Yes.
Chukwuma from Okenwa, how important is this? Because sometimes people don't understand the import of the things they say and write on social media. And maybe because they are playing politics, they don't like who's the governor or who's the president. So because of that, the whole country is bad or the whole state is bad. Do you think it's time for people to rethink this?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, one of the things our people need to learn is to learn how to like address issues and not to attack persons, right? He's a strong advocate of that. You address issues, don't attack persons. And that's what I see oftentimes where someone can look at, like critically, progress is recorded here. You know, give the man or the woman the feathers, his feathers. You may not like his face, right? But if someone is doing well, you look at the figures, look at the numbers. The least you can do is to make a commendation and say, well, in this one you've done well. In this, I think you can do better. In this, I think there are gaps. Because you know why? One of the things that is very risky about playing politics, about everything, and not even giving room for good governance. So it's more like, I don't even think you can do well. I'm not even ready to suggest. What I just think that will make me happy is that in the next 2 years, you leave that seat so that our own person can come in, right? And then what's the guarantee that your own person is going to do any better? So what I think that people should begin to do is when they begin to understand that the interest of the common man, the interest of the collective citizen is much more important than who is there part time. Somebody will always be there. But the person that is there doesn't mean that the person owns all of, the government, because the people are the government. So to be fair enough, what I think and I've chosen to do is, since I do not have the prerogative to select or to nominate who should be the governor or the president, so there is a possibility it might even be someone I didn't vote for. So would I now wish my nation bad or my state bad because it's not someone I voted for? That shouldn't happen. So what I can now do is to find out where is the person doing well and I can comment. Where does the person need to do better and I can comment. Where is the person not doing good at all? I can now also objectively criticize and recommend what I think should be done better. And I think if we can do that, then in the course of solving issues internally, as friends and as brothers, we can also endear our culture, to the world, because the world is watching. No nation is an island.
No nation is an island. Dr. Perlman, how important is it for nations to have stories about their favorite places in the hearts of people who can tell it to visitors? I would love to see the Niagara Falls. I would like to see the Grand Canyon, different places. But if I did not hear stories that endeared me to want to see these places, I wouldn't look out at the pictures and videos and say, I want to see those places. How important is it that there are people who can tell the stories? For instance, lots of people from this part of the world visit the Middle East, either for the Muslim Hajj or the Christian pilgrimage, Israel and Saudi Arabia. So it is weaved around stories and history. How important is it that you preserve this and pass it down in a way that endears people?
That's a very good question, Alex, and I would answer it this way. People focus sometimes on the wrong storyline, and they tell a story that benefits them and not the story itself. So I'll give you an example. The Middle East. If Abrahamic religions would start focusing on Abraham instead of the children, because there was a schism between Isaac and Ishmael, and each one founded another religion, basically. But Abraham, if they would look to Abraham, then Christians, Muslims, and Jews would all get along. But unfortunately, who is telling the story? And there are people, in order to get viewerships, especially in my country, they like to get people angry. They want to get people to the point where they are going to be so passionate about something just to get them to watch the program. And so you need programs like yours, programs where you really are talking about serious issues and trying to come up with viable answers, and nobody is telling you what to say. But sometimes in America on networks, they have to follow what is given to them. They have a certain prescribed news that they have to tell. And that's why I want my adopted son, Chukwuma. I want him to be at the UN and say, this month we're featuring Nigeria, and we're having the children from his school, or you, Alex, come there and tell the real stories, not the stories that benefit somebody. We want the stories that benefit the country. And so that's not happening. You know, I was a psychiatric social worker, and I worked with narcissism. So many narcissistic people. But I have non-clinicians using terms they don't even know what it means today, because they learned it from watching something. So I want people to start talking to one another and start focusing on Ghana, Nigeria, where we just came from Ghana. Start talking about if there's how many countries are there in Africa?
54.
Okay, 54 countries. And only, let's say, 12 are getting the commercialization. Why is that? And who's pushing that? And I want to say one more thing that's very important. I do not like absolutes. I don't like the fact that people are taught that politicians are corrupt or that people that are doing good. It's about those people that follow the laws and do good, and those people who are causing trouble, terrorism and everything else. And the terrorists, the people who do these awful things, they're the ones that ruin it. So if we could get back to Abraham and learn that we're all the same. We're all children of one God, or however you see that. My wife and I spent a month in India. We met with high priests. I met with the Dalai Lama for Buddhism. I've had these relationships with people. And they close the door. They want to talk to me privately. Because unfortunately, people are afraid. And what makes them afraid is that they're not lions. I am so proud to wear this, not for the color red, which makes me sometimes think of blood and warfare, but because of the majesty of the lion. No one stands up to the king of the jungle. Nobody.
And you know what? We'll have a lion building here.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe you will have a visit to the lion building.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
So, Chukwuma from Okenwa, I mean, how important is it for people to be ambassadors of where they come from? And we can't stop talking about this because there's now a pattern that once it's not someone, unquote, you like that is in charge, everything that is happening is wrong. And people don't know that maybe sometimes those opinions they share just move beyond their own space. If you put a post on Facebook, people all over the world will see it. And they form their opinions about where you come from based on all those small, small comments people drop on social media. How important is it that people understand that they're also hurting themselves by doing things like that?
Yeah, honestly, I think I love the way you ended that question. Like, it really sheds more light on what we call unintended consequences. Unintended consequences. So you have anticipated outcomes and the unintended consequences. So sometimes people do things, they have their intent. So your anticipated consequences or anticipated outcome is that you are going to maybe demotivate the person politically, demarket the person politically that you are attacking. But the unintended consequences is you can be demarketing, the states, and also like alienating your people and the state from opportunities. And in one way or the other, it affects you because when your people are retrogressing, certainly you are part of your people. You can be different from your people. The interesting thing about like some Nigerians that travel out and they speak ill about Nigeria, like as if to say, like make general statements, which he hates so much. He doesn't like generalization, like what I call fallacy of generalization. You just want to label 220 million people as fraudulent people, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, right? So what you're doing is that at the end of the day, you forget that you're traveling with a green passport. And then when you come in and show that green passport before an immigration, you are going to be subjected to extra scrutiny, right? And sometimes, like when we travel and show the green passport and subjected to extra scrutiny, we know it's not just because of us, it is because of the nation. It is because of like some things where some Nigerians have either acted or spoken in some careless manner that now at the end of the day, even affects those of us that directly, was not never involved. So you cannot delineate yourself, or maybe when someone has said, oh, he's Nigerian, right? Don't forget you added to that image and you don't say, oh, well, I'm a Nigerian by document and not by heart, or not by association, right? I mean, a Nigerian is a Nigerian, like, the major opposition leader in the UK, who says she's Yoruba but not Nigerian, and then I ask, where can you really associate the Yorubas of this world, if not Nigerian? I mean, if you just say you are a Nigerian, right? I mean, a Yoruba. There's nothing like Yoruba passport. There's nothing like the Yoruba nation does not have any flag standing at the United Nations, the alley of flags in Geneva, or anywhere. So you can say, oh, this is, maybe my tribe is not my country. I don't see that anywhere.
I mean, how important is this, Dr. Perlman, as we gradually wrap up this interview, for people to come to that point where they start separating politics and love of country? I think there's a word for it, patriotism.
Well, unfortunately, there's either nationalism or patriotism. And sometimes we end up with nationalism. Patriotism is what I saw at the Queen's Model School today. I saw, as I said, every youngster singing the national anthem. But again, it wasn't just that they were singing it, they were proud to sing it. And they should be the emissaries that we need, not people that, I'll give you an example. I'll bet that if you brought in a taxi driver and asked him beforehand what his life is like, and have him on your show, ask him what it's been like, and then you'll find out what I discovered in India. In America, luxuries sometimes become necessities. People have so much that they can't appreciate it. And then I've met people that have so little, and yet they have more than the wealthiest people that I've ever met. And that's also something that I've discovered here in Enugu, that their wealth is being content with what they have. So maybe they could teach something to other countries that are overflowing because of political decisions that are taxing on other countries. We need to help countries. We can't look for the reasons. There's always going to be some Achilles heel to any funding, like USAID. There's always going to be some story that's a problem. Well, why do we hone in on that? So you said it right, Alex. It's about storytelling, but telling the right story.
It's about storytelling and telling the right story. And who would tell your story better, Chukwumai from Okewa, if you don't tell it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's best to tell one story because, like I tell people, that the beautiful thing about life is that things that has to do with us, right? So you could have a biography, you could have autobiography, but the most important aspect of autobiography is a profile. Choosing the things that favors your narrative, the narrative, or how you want to be perceived. That's what a profile is, right? It's in your favor, and you are the one that decide how to craft it in such a way that you are perceived rightly, right? I mean, you have that prerogative as an individual, as a nation. In diplomacy, we'll call that like public diplomacy, right? How do you want to be perceived by other nations? How do you want to tell your story? What narrative do you want to build? And let me mention this because it's very important. So oftentimes people allow issue of perception to be like an afterthought or something you just leave you leave to chance, right? But you don't leave it to chance. You have to like choose how you want to be perceived, and you have to create that, right? Create that image. And once you are perceived, like I mean today, when I don't want to hear about the United States of America, you want to think of strength. You want to think of wealth, right? I mean, for the U.S. to become a very strong nation, that when you mention the U.S., everyone wants to associate with the brand. That tells you that, will some other nation have to like markets come to our nation? The U.S. is placing visa restrictions on those that want to come because, if they don't do that, many people want to come, right? We already have many people trying to come from different places, and the current administration is saying, we've had enough, we want to send back some more people to either where they are coming from or countries we can establish. So what that means is that beyond that, right, you've talked about like building the people, transiting the economy to like a high-paying one, right? And then now people want to like associate with your brand.
I mean, thank you so much for that. And I forgot to tell you that Dr. Perlman sings too. And he has a song. The last time he was on this show, he did a song, and I think he has a song.
A song especially for Enugu.
Yes.
In the heart of Nigeria, where the hills kiss the sky, Enugu calls with open arms, where dreams will never die. At Queen's Model School today, young voices sang so free. Our peace song filled the air, a melody from them for me. I stood before the future, at IMT they shone, spoke of hope and courage, of paths yet to be known. From Coal City's vibrant soul, a story to unfold. Enugu's warmth will hold you, a beauty to behold. Come to Enugu, feel the love in every breeze. Taste the pepper soup, let the culture ignite. In Enugu, love's alive, come see the light. No excuse to stay away, Enugu's air's in flight. Bringing you to Enugu under stars that shine so bright. From special caves to waterfalls that flowingly cascade, Enugu's heart is open, her memories never fade. To build a nation where peace and justice reign, the anthem's vow, it echoes through every hill and every plain. The children sing of unity, their voices strong and clear. Enugu's love will heal you, wipe away every tear. Come to Enugu, feel the love in every breeze. Taste their rice and bowls of soup, let your soul be pleased. Dance with the people, let the culture ignite. In Enugu, love's alive. Come see the light. Walk paths of history where heroes carve their name. Feel the pulse of Enugu. No 2 days are the same. From the singing of the children to the elders' tales of old, Enugu's heart is calling, her story must be told. Come to Enugu, feel the love in every breeze. Taste the ofe Nasala, let your heart be at ease. Dance with the people, let the culture ignite. In Enugu, love's alive. Come see the light. So pack your bags and journey to the city of the hills. Enugu waits with open arms to give you love and thrills. From Queen's Mono's joyful song to IMT's bright flame, come to Enugu, feel the love
man. I don't do this always on this table to have to clap, but
Oh, thank you.
Chief Dr. Emanuel Perlman, founder of Destination Peace, thank you for coming on the Eastern Eye, and thank you for this song. I tell you what, the governor must hear this. The governor should hear this song.
Yeah.
I think he needs to make you an ambassador, and a co-city ambassador. Thank you so much for your perspectives and song on the Eastern Eye tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chukwumai from Okenwa.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing Dr. Perlman
You're most welcome.
to Enugu and to our studios. Thank
You're
you.
most welcome.
What a beautiful song.
Yeah, thank you.
Chukwumai from Okenwa is the Executive Director, Lead Network Africa. That's Eastern Eye for tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I don't know how he managed to put in pepper soup and offense like the song. I mean,
And he said it so well.
people from here haven't
it
done,
so well. Yeah.
haven't done the song, putting up offense like pepper soup, but he did. Thank you for watching tonight. My name is Alex Ogbodo. Good night.